Hi guys, we're going to have a look at some transformations in this video, more importantly enlargement. Now enlargement is one of the topics that people tend to get stuck on. It is tricky because you've got scale factors of positive numbers, scale factors of fractions. You can also have negative scale factors, and yeah, it is very tricky to get the right answer here. So hopefully this video will illustrate a few example of each one and will help you. So two things you need for enlargement, I've written them here. One's the scale factor, so that's how big or small the shape can get. And also the center of enlargement, which is the point where you enlarge the shape from. Now sometimes in a question it'll just say enlarge this shape, and there won't be a center of enlargement. They're the nice easy ones. Everyone can do them. You just make the shape 2, 3, 4 times as big, whatever you need to, depending on the scale factor. But I'm just going to concentrate on the ones with the center of enlargement as well, because they're the harder ones that people struggle with, and they're more likely to come up. So let's make a start then. The first one here, I've got this shape here. I've got my center of enlargement here. Just bear in mind, sometimes I might give you the coordinate, and you have to plot the coordinate. But I've already got my center of enlargement here, and I've got the scale factor of 4. So this shape is going to get 4 times bigger. Now in the exam, if you can't do it from the point, just enlarge the shape by a scale factor of 4, make that 4 times bigger, because you do get marks for that. You won't get full marks, because obviously it might be in the wrong position, but if you're struggling, just make sure you do that to scrape a couple. So how do we do it? Well, we always start from the center of enlargement, and let's say I'm going to start with that corner there. So I say to myself, how do I go from this point to this point? When I go up 1 and across 1. Now because it's a scale factor of 4, I'm going to do that movement 4 times. So up 1, across 1, up 1, across 1, up 1, across 1, up 1, across 1. So it goes there. So I've done it 4 times. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And do the same thing for the other corners. So let's do the bottom left this time. How do I go from my center of enlargement to that point? Well, I go across 2 and up 1. Do that movement 4 times. Just remember, you always start from the center of enlargement. Some people start on the corner, the point they're working from. No, no, no. Always start from the center of enlargement. So let's do that. Cross 2 up 1, that's once. Cross 2 up 1, that's twice. Cross 2 up 1, that's 3 times. Cross 2 up 1, that's 4 times. Okay, so this one, so this point here goes there. And last point to do is the top one. So I go up 3 and across 2. Do it 4 times, starting from the center of enlargement. So across 3, up 2, cross 3, up 2. Oh, sorry, what am I talking about? Up 3, cross 2, up 3, cross 2, up 3, cross 2, up 3, cross 2. So that point goes there. Okay, so you can then get your ruler and draw up the points. Like so. I'm going to use a ruler for this one because that shape's quite big. And let's test it. It was 2 squares high. If I'm doing a scale factor of 4, it should now be 8 squares high because I just times it by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Happy days. The base was 1, so it now should be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Okay, so my shape has got 4 times as big. And there's another little trick you can do to make sure it's in the right place. If you get a ruler and you look at the bottom left corner with the bottom left corner of your original shape, and you get a ruler and you line them up, I'm not going to draw it. Well, I might do actually. Let's do it. If you draw a line, it should go through that point, and through your center of enlargement. If it doesn't go through your center of enlargement, you've made a mistake. Exactly the same thing with the bottom right, like that. There we go. It goes through that point, and this point. And then finally, the top point there. As you can see, all points go through it. Now, some people start off with doing those lines. That's absolutely fine. But if you just get the angle slightly wrong here, it makes or amplifies the mistake up here. So you might actually trick yourself. So I'd always recommend counting where you think the point would be, and then just using that as a backup to test it. That's what I recommend. Entirely up to you, but I think that's the best way. So that's with a nice positive scale factor. In this case, I've got a scale factor of 1/3, which means the shape gets 3 times smaller. So if we have a look at the shape now, it's a 3 by 3 square, in which case if it gets 3 times smaller, it's obviously going to be a 1 by 1 square. So I know what it's going to look like, but there's my centre of enlargement. So the best way to do this is, again, to count the squares. How do I go from this point to the top right? Well, let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12 up. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across. So 12 up, 6 across. Divide that by 3. Okay, so if it was 12 up, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 up. And then it was 6 across, so divide that by 3, it's 2. So 1, 2. So that point is going to go there. Now, like I said, because this was a 3 by 3 and it's going to get a third smaller, you could probably go, I reckon it's going to be there. Okay, but have a little test, just make sure. So let's do if I do the bottom left after doing the top right, and it's going to be there, I'll know I've done it right. So let's test that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 across and 9 up. Scale factor of 3. So divide both of those by 3. So 3 across and 3 up. Yes, that corner goes there. I'm pretty sure that that's going to be my shape. And just like before, you can test it's in the right space by lining up the bottom left. And yep, as you can see, it goes through my centre of enlargement. I'm going to do the top one as well. Yep, it's definitely going to be in the right space, okay? So just like before, we're counting the squares, and because it's a scale factor of 3, I'm just dividing it by 3, so I need to do that movement by a division of 3. So hopefully that helps you with that. Don't forget to line them up to make sure it's in the right spot. And just like before, if you know what the shape's going to look like when you enlarge it, or in this case, make it smaller, make sure you get that on the page, because you will get marks even if it's in the wrong spot. But that's how you can get it in the right spot. So that's scale factor, positive, and as a fraction. So what does it do when it's negative? I'm just going to make sure that's still all right. Yep, that's still all right. So when it's negative, it means it's on the other side of the centre of enlargement. So this time here it says at the origin. Don't be put off by this term, the origin. It's just the coordinate 0, 0. Okay, so here's my centre of enlargement. So because it's negative, it's going to be on the other side, so it's going to be somewhere over here, of the centre of enlargement. And because it's a 2, it's going to get twice as big. Okay, now for this one, I would definitely put on your grid lines first, because that is going to help, because sometimes you do get a little bit in a muddle when going from the other side. So how do I go from my centre of enlargement to this point? Well, up 1 and across 1. So again, starting from your centre of enlargement, we go across 1, up 1, and across 1, up 1 again, because it's a scale factor of 2. So the minus means I go on the other side of it, but I'm still doing it 2. So that point goes there. Okay, let's do the next one. So I'm going to do the top one here, again, going through the centre of enlargement, and the point here is going to be somewhere like that. Okay, so how do I get from my centre of enlargement to that one? Well, 1 down, 2 across. So up 1, 2 across, up 1, 2 across. So it goes there, which makes sense because that's 1. And if I'm doing a scale factor of 2, if I look at it now, I can draw it on that. That's going to be my 2. So it's got twice as big there. And I'll do one more because that's all I should need. And I'll line that point up with that point there. Okay, and I'm going down 3 and across 1. So in this one here, starting from my centre of enlargement, up 3 across 1. I do it twice because it's 2. Up 3 across 1, so it goes there. Drawing it on, so I'm going to use a ruler because that looked a bit messy. Does it make sense? Well, that's 2 squares. Scale factor of 2, that's now 4. Yep, and you've probably guessed it. We can then just draw the rest of the shape on like that. And again, don't forget just to double check it, make sure it is okay. Yep, that corner through there, yep, it's in the right spot. Okay, so negative just means it's on the other side of the centre of enlargement. Now, what you might have in the exam is a description. It says describe the transformation. Notice it says transformation, which is the generic term given to reflection, rotation, translation, and enlargement. So actually you do get a mark for saying it's an enlargement. So must make sure in the exam you do say enlargement, because that's going to be 1 mark. The next, well, it's 3 marks in total, that's one of them. The next mark is for the scale factor, and the other mark is for the centre of enlargement. So if we just stick with the A to B one first, just compare 2 lengths. Well, that one is 1 length, this one is 2 lengths, so it's got twice as big, so that's easy, the scale factor is 2. Now, to find the centre of enlargement, we use our old trick with the grid lines, and you line up the corner to corner, and you draw a line. I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom right and bottom right, like so, and it's probably going to be there, but let's just double check. Always do 3 just to make 100% sure. Yep, there we go, they're all crossed at that point, so that's going to be my centre of enlargement. So then you just put the coordinate there of 4, remember, along the corridor and then down the stairs, so 4 minus 1. Next one here, we're going to do C to D, so this one to this one. So again, I'm going to say enlargement for 1 mark. Scale factor, well, again, 1 to 2, if I'm just comparing the bases. So I'm going to say scale factor equals 2. And this is where it gets a bit more interesting, because if you now try and work out the centre of enlargement, you might have noticed it doesn't look 100%, because just like in my previous example, well, the centre of enlargement is there, that's not a problem, it's minus 4, 0, but look, just like before, it's on the opposite side of the centre of enlargement. So it's actually not 2, it's minus 2, it's a negative. Now that would be very, very harsh if that came up in an exam. It's more likely to be something like my first example, but it's just a heads up. If it doesn't like get bigger like this one here, it clearly gets bigger, it's still the same orientation. If it's a different orientation, chances are it's going to be a negative, just like this one was here. So just be careful and heads up about that one. Okay, hopefully that helps, guys. Cheers.